This is Three Dog.
How can I help?
Now imagine a game. You're on an island. It's populated by deadly Nazi soldiers. You could either live or die. Irrational Games had this choice to make a game like that. But one man stood up and said no. Ken Levine, the visionary that we all know today, that some love, some hate, wanted a game that focused around humanity, around the best and the worst, the duality, like we talked about in the previous segment. But not the duality per se of a city or of a culture, but of philosophy. He found that there was one person, one being, that could most encompass that duality, and decided to build a world around him.
I am Andrew Ryan, and I'm here to ask you a question. Is a man not entitled to the sweat of his brow? No, says the man in Washington, it belongs to the poor. No, says the man in the Vatican, it belongs to God. No, says the man in Moscow, it belongs to everyone. I rejected those answers. Instead, I chose something different.
That world he created was the world of Rapture. It was built on the utopian ideals, going against concepts of the New Deal and communism while trying to maintain industrialism and capitalism. It was utopian, but it slowly chipped away. It created something that was, not really what you would expect. Now, in this world, as you all are aware, scientists found a substance called Adam. It basically gave people supernatural powers, and everyone with that introduction of supernatural abilities had big ethical questions about whether or not this was right, whether or not this goes with ideals. Can there be a city with no laws? And of course, it all ends in disaster. This continued in Bioshock 2, and then even also continued in Bioshock Infinite in a weird interdimensional way, except in this way it was about the American government's bigotry in the early 1900s. These games are on everyone's top list. Dave, these games, you love them more than anything, right?
Oh, yeah, they're really good.
They are incredible. Across the atmosphere, they are loved. I think that these games are really loved because each part ties into one greater picture. They're graffiti on the walls of Dr. Steinman's office, showing his slow decline into insanity. The light flickering on and off when you enter Sander Cohen's gallery and see these rabbit creatures slowly decaying in front of you. Or the series of audio logs that give you just little tastes of what this plot might be, what happened in this world that seemed to represent such great ideas. Every design choice that Irrational Games brought into Bioshock leaves you with a sensation, whether it's despair, confusion, but also tries to push you forward. Unlike GTA, it's not all about what you can do in the world and the depth of you being able to play tennis and do all these crazy things. It's about being on the rails inside of an insane asylum. It's about seeing a universe that is put together with one goal in mind, to ask you a question. What does choice really mean? And as you complete Bioshock, you discover that a man's right to choose, ironically, is what the entire game is about. It's what the entire series is about. And I think for us, that's why this game works so well. Because it commits to one ideal, one question. What does it mean to make a choice? And I think that's why we remember so many of these things in the Bioshock world. I think it's why we still care about it. I think it's why I have a painting of Big Daddies in my apartment, because it not only entertained me, but it made me question something important: free will. We got to take a quick break, or do we? Yes, we do. And we'll be right back. More on Bioshock. Andy Borkowski, BGS Talk Radio, AM 640.